With us today we have Gretchen Pine, a local children's author. Hi, Gretchen.
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me.
I'm glad you came.
I'm glad I'm here.
So, let's see. Before you get to your books, why don't you tell us a little bit about you? Let me also give you some leg room here. See,
Yeah,
also,
thank
before you leave,
Thank
you got to sign the T-shirt, and I have some gift certificates for you. as well.
Great.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, I'm a Wareham resident.
You're a Warehamian.
I am 22 years, something like
you're
that.
like me. We're not Warehamians.
Well,
we're
yeah,
visitors.
we're
and always
adopted.
will be. Yes.
We're adopted.
Yeah. It's our adopted.
Live here with my husband and our twin sons who just turned 18.
Wow.
Go to Wareham High. I'm a children's book author. I'm the mother of Lulu. Most people in the area know about Lulu.
Lulu, yeah.
I write children's books. We have a foundation. We have a lot of stuff going on.
Tell us about the foundation.
Lulu's Foundation, we just became a 501(c)(3) last summer. We were doing so much with Lulu's Walk and Lulu's Books, and we developed a Lulu Scholarship Fund. Lulu's Walk, we raised a lot of money for families in need of the YMCA and also for the Boys and Girls Club, so we decided we needed to create our own foundation so that we could help more families in need and be a little more diversified. And what we're doing now is we've started a project called Project Dream, Believe, and Do, which is in New Bedford at the Alfred Gomes School, inner city school. We're bringing creation back into education, bringing fun and creativity through the arts. We partner with different organizations to make that happen, and it creates a sense of empowerment to children.
And how do they mix that into the MCAS?
They develop the curriculum. For instance, we have Rick Moore from the Rhythm Room. He's a drummer, so a teacher is sitting with him as he donates his time on Fridays, works with second graders. So they're developing math curriculum, history, English, all around the drumming. The kids are having fun, and of course there's this rhythm to drumming, and there's this memorization that goes on. It sort of connects the left brain and the right brain together. And same thing with the arts. I think
that's the problem with my brain. I've never had it connected.
I think we all do. I think once children are engaged, they're having fun, then they're going to learn and things are going to stick better. And if you talk to any teacher, especially in Massachusetts, who have to meet the MCAS curriculum, you know, so much fun is taken out. And once the teachers get disengaged and they stop having fun, it's such a trickle-down effect.
Yeah, well, it doesn't take long to trickle down either.
No, it doesn't.
The teachers aren't having fun. And a lot of what, oops, should have closed it all the way. Oh well, that's all right. I'll get it. Excuse me. I've been fighting this for weeks now.
It's going around.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Yeah, it's not much of a trickle down because it immediately affects them, of course. You know,
immediately. It creates just sort of this low energy environment, and it's very difficult to learn things in that state. So we bring things up to a high energy environment. We engage the kids. We're having fun. We had an art show last year. Bren Bataclan from the Boston Smile Project donated 70, I think it was, originals. We sold them all. We had it at the Artworks in New Bedford. All the kids created works of art. Bren is an awesome guy. He creates these quirky little characters, and he leaves them like on park benches alongside businesses that have closed, and he puts little notes that say, if you promise to smile at a perfect stranger, this original work of art is yours. So the globe.
What are they made out of?
They're acrylics on canvas. Yeah. Acrylics on canvas.
They're paintings.
They're paintings.
Okay.
So the globe gets a whole story. One thing leads to another. Now Bren's artworks are all over the country. Once the recession started, he would leave little messages on buildings, businesses that have closed that says, "Don't worry, every little thing's going to be all right." So they teach kids not only to be engaged in the arts, but you know, just these little things that we can all do to make a difference. And I feel as though, you know, we all have these gifts to give. We all have things that we can contribute back. So Project Dream, Believe, and Do also incorporates that, inspiring children to give back as well.
That's a great name, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it came from an actual dream that I had with Lulu. But I think a lot of kids don't even dare to dream anymore.
No.
You know, and the believing in the dream is having the courage to believe in what you dream, and then of course the doing is the action step, taking the action steps to make it come true.
Nice. And what inspired you into the whole Lulu thing to start with?
Lulu's Rose-Colored Glasses was my first book, and I wrote that actually before Lulu passed. I was on a really bad day. It was much like the weather we're having now, day after day of gray, rain, miserable. And I was in just a really bad mood, and Lulu had found her rose-colored glasses in the back seat of the car. And she begged and begged and begged for me to put them on and see the world the way she saw it, and I wouldn't listen to her. I was just too busy and caught up in my own mundane momminess.
Right.
And I had a moment of grace where I put on the glasses, and I was amazed that I actually had the power to change my perception of what was going on around me, and that I was responsible for my own happiness.
So, wait a minute, so she asked you to do it, you said no, and then you finally
Yeah,
capitulated?
she begged. Yeah, and I finally did. And Lulu was just 3 years old at the time, and I asked her if I could have her rose-colored glasses. And she said, "No, Mama, you need to find your own." And I thought, wow, that's really profound. So I wrote that down as sort of a note to myself. And it sort of came out in this children's story. Just to remember when I was having a bad day, you know, or I wasn't engaged with my children, to remember what was important. So not having the courage to actually publish a children's story, I thought, oh, what if people won't like it? That little voice that we all have in our head that tells us that, you know, we're not worthy.
You can't succeed.
You can't succeed.
What are you doing a project for?
Yeah, and we all have that. And I let it sort of rule me. And then when Lulu passed, I displayed her original rose-colored glasses along with the story that I had written at her funeral, so that people would know, you know, who Lulu was, what she was about, and you know how amazing she was. And I think all children are amazing. And after that, I decided I needed to do this. I needed to let the world know that children are amazing and wonderful, and slow down and appreciate what you've got right in front of you.
Right. Nice story.
Thank you. And then the rest of Lulu's books, I have 8 written. The rest of Lulu's books were written sort of during the grieving process. I couldn't sleep. So I'd get up at 4:30 in the morning and go down we have a little beach lot, and I'd go down, sit on the bench, and I'd start writing. And that was not with the intention of writing children's stories. It was the intention of wanting to remember every moment. And what came out was the compilation of these stories, and I believe they're Lulu stories, that they come from Lulu, and I'm just sort of the channeler or the writer of them. But in every story, in a non-contrived way, it's a story of Lulu teaching me what's important in life and teaching others around her.
Very good.
So Lulu Decorates Daddy came out a few years after Rose-Colored Glasses. Rose-Colored Glasses, we went door to door, store to store, and we had decided to sort of use the press in the way that we had felt used after she died. And then we ended up on, Good Morning America, Ladies' Home Journal, and Lulu's book sort of went all over the world. And then Decorates Daddy came out, and same thing. And now Lulu's brand new book, just out a week ago, Lulu's Lovely Dress That's Too Small. And true story about a day when Lulu had outgrown her most favoriteest dress, and the battle that started in her room in the morning that every parent in America can relate to, when you're ready to pull your hair out by 8 o'clock in the morning and you're like, oh my gosh.
The bus is going to be here in a minute.
Exactly. So I came up with a great idea, I thought, and I threw a pair of shorts on under the dress to sort of cover it all.
Right.
And she arrived at Best Friend's preschool, the belle of the ball, and I didn't know it at the time, but that day was picture day. So there Lulu stands in this lovely dress that's too small with her little pair of shorts on to cover it all. And at the end of the story, it says, Lulu's picture still hangs in the bathroom by the sink. Every time I see it, I can't help but think, she's a mighty little acorn standing against an old oak tree. Lulu is the wise one, it's certainly not me. I can still hear today in that picture that I see, oh Mama, that dress looks so lovely on me. And what we've done is we have partnered with Gifts to Give. And at the end of the story, it says, a gift of love is never too small. Lulu gives her dress away. So we've partnered with Gifts to Give in New Bedford. It's a 30,000 square foot mill, and it's filled with toys and clothes and books.
Really?
And every single item goes to South Coast families in need absolutely free of charge.
And this is in New
In
Bedford?
New Bedford.
Whereabouts?
On Cove Street. Right on Cove Street. It's one of those old textile mills.
I'm just surprised I haven't heard of it.
Yeah, they've only been around for less than a year. They haven't celebrated their year anniversary, but what they're doing in there is absolutely incredible because not only do they just give stuff away, they teach children and families about social justice and social reform. It's all volunteer community. So school systems go into Gifts to Give. Nurses, women on welfare who have to do community service. People go in and donate their time, and they do quality control checks on the clothes, toys, and books. So if something has a rip, a stain, or a tear, the family, they don't give it away, they recycle it. So it teaches children to give back as well. And any parent can go into Gifts to Give. You just need to call the mill. You can bring your child in there. You can package up things. And the cool thing is that they don't give away the clothes. You know, people don't knock on the door and they give away the clothes. They work with people who are involved in the social system. So they work with nurses, they work with welfare workers, they work with caseworkers, they work with school systems. And they actually can go online on givestogive.org, and they have an online shopping cart. So Susie, who's 8, who loves frilly little girl things, gets this complete gift package, and every child gets 6 free books. So it involves the entire community. So my goal is to partner with people in the social service arena in Wareham so that the Gifts to Give items can actually go back into our community here in Wareham. And I want to encourage people to go into the mill and experience what's going on there. It's absolutely incredible. It's phenomenal. So Lulu now is the new ambassador.
Sounds like a place we should have some guests from.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I would love to have Jim Stevens, the founder of Gifts to Give, come on and talk about what he does. Lulu's the new ambassador for Gifts to Give. So, with
beautiful picture.
Isn't it beautiful? Yeah. She's beautiful. So Lulu is promoting children to give, teaching parents to give, and I know the economy's horrible. I know people are going through a lot, but I feel as though we all have something that we can give, whether it's time, whether it's something we've outgrown. And I know from personal experience, it's in the giving that you get so much more, and it's really helped to heal me, and it's in the giving that I really get to experience Lulu and feel her energy with me. So.
Beautiful stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
it really
I love how beautifully illustrated they are.
Aren't they beautiful?
How
Mary
did you
Lou.
find your illustrator?
Well, with Lulu, everything seems to be sort of serendipitous. Things just sort of are meant to be. And Mary Lo Piccolo, she is very famous in sort of the Hallmark world.
Is she related to Jenny Piccolo from, what was the name of that show?
I
The
don't know.
50s show. Jenny, you know.
That was Happy Days.
Happy Days. I blew the joke.
Oh!
Happy Days. I can't believe nobody knew who Jenny Piccolo was.
I don't know who she is.
She was the best friend of the young girl in Happy Days, Richie's little sister.
Oh, okay.
Jenny Piccolo was
Okay.
the go-to girl.
Okay.
We never saw Jenny Piccolo. We just heard about
Oh.
Jenny.
Jenny, okay. Wow, that's
Sorry.
no, that's a good memory. That's very good. I have no clue. But yeah, she
You've
did.
seen Happy Days anyway.
No, I remember Happy
Oh, yeah,
Days.
okay.
Oh yeah, of course. So also what we've done with Lulu's Foundation is we've started this project Dream, Believe, and Do. And it's started at the Gome School, an inner city school, and it engages children to follow their dreams and do all those other things. So, and would love to get the curriculum, we're getting the curriculum developed so that we can use it in every school system across the country, including Wareham.
And who's publishing these things?
We are self-publishing Lulu's books. We have a publisher now. So Lulu will be going across the world again, which will be nice. It'll take a lot of the pressure off me.
Yeah, yeah.
I can just write and have
Because that's
fun.
what it sounds like that needs to happen. Because I kind of thought that you were self-publishing, and clearly you need to be doing other stuff on the business end of things.
Well, yeah, and well, the nice thing about self-publishing is that you get to maintain all the control.
Right.
And I wanted Lulu to remain Lulu, and I didn't want to, sell that out. But we've found a really wonderful publisher that's willing to allow us to keep everything exactly.
But
as
you've
we
also
do.
got the momentum
Right.
at this point as well. So
Absolutely.
I'm sure people don't want Lulu to be changed at this point.
No, they.
Lulu has a fan base.
Lulu has a fan base, which is great. Another project we're working on is in partnership with
out of your way.
Fable Vision. They're in Boston. They're by the Children's Museum.
Fable with Vision?
Fable Vision, and their tagline is "Stories that matter, stories that move." And so we're creating sort of this little animated Lulu character, where she inspires children to dream, believe, and do. She's the girl for good. So we're all programmed, whether it's through our parents or in the media, or we're just all programmed. So why not program our children from a young age to for them to understand how powerful they are, for them to understand that they too can make their, bless you, they can make their dreams come true. So it's sort of a cross between an online book and an animation. And we'll be doing the story, we're starting off with the I Am the Rainbow story, which is the dream that I had that inspired Dream, Believe, and Do. And then each subsequent book will be turned.
It's a great project.
It's a great project.
So where can we get your books at? Where can we purchase them? Are they strictly online right now, or are they any bookstores?
You can go to the Old Company store. You
Oh,
can
the
go
Old
to
Company store.
Sail Away downtown.
Yeah?
And there's a section in the Old Company store, a Lulu section.
Ah, very cool.
Oh, we're
At
having
least
a-
last time I was there, there was anyway.
Yeah, they have a Lulu section. Baker Books in Dartmouth. We're having a little Lulu dress created. We've partnered with a woman who makes dresses, beautiful dresses, Cha-Cha Belle. So we're creating little lovely dresses that are too small with shorts
Right.
on. So we're going to start a little fashion trend for girls.
That's
Good for you.
awesome.
It's really awesome. And of course, encourage these little girls to give back their clothing.
Do you have any book signings coming up?
We do. Thank you for asking. April 9th, actually, our partner from the Rhythm Room is performing live in New Bedford at the Keith School. April 9th, 7 o'clock. All the proceeds will go back into Project Dream, Believe, and Do. April 10th, Kaleidoscope Dance. We are going to have a box truck there. We want to fill that puppy up. I believe that book signing's at 10 o'clock. It's all on the website.
You should send us a...
What's the website
Before you
again?
leave, you should leave us an announcement so we can read that.
Yeah,
I'd
we
love
can
to.
read that.
Awesome, awesome. The website is lulubelle, L-U-L-U-B-E-L-L-E, books.com. April 13th will
It's on
be
the
at the
screen now.
Mattapoisett.
There you go.
Oh,
He's
that's
good. He's
nice.
right on it.
Yay. At the Mattapoisett Library, April 13th, and then they just keep growing. So what we're doing is, in partnership with every book signing, we're doing clothing and toy drives, so that it encourages people to give back. It's springtime. It's time to clean out the feng shui the stuff and clean out the house. And you realize how much stuff we have that we don't need.
Right.
You know.
Yep. That's
ton.
what spring
Especially
is for.
when you move. I just moved again, and I'm like, you know what? All you have is all you need. I don't need any more stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that the older I get, the more I realize that who
You
needs
don't
all
need
this junk.
But you pass it, like my daughter, she gives away big bags of clothes to, when the kids outgrow clothes, and she gets them from other people too, and all those kind of things is the best way to do it.
It's the best way. Well, what I love about this organization is for instance, Salvation Army, Red Cross, they're all wonderful organizations, but you don't know if necessarily the stuff is helping within your very own community.
Right.
And also, the overhead on those organizations is astronomical.
Right.
I think it's around 50%. So your donations, I'm not discouraging people to donate.
Right.
Gives to Give, I believe their overhead's just about 5%. It's all volunteer. So you know what you're giving is going to be given to someone in your community, And it's...
Just to defend those big organizations, people like the Red Cross, if you're talking about cash, if you give cash away to them,
Yes.
50% of it may go to administration. But with the Red Cross, I don't think it's actually that high. But
I think it's like 48%.
But it is high, but it's not. Yeah. But anyway, but when you're giving clothing and stuff like that, they're generally keeping that stuff in relatively near where you are anyway.
True, but like
because they're
Salvation Army, you
worldwide.
have to purchase the clothes, at the
Yes.
Salvation
Yeah.
Army
And
stores.
this is
Yeah.
given all
Yeah.
away.
This is giving it all
Yeah.
away,
Yeah.
and it's
stays in our
creating
community.
social change.
Yeah.
That's what I love most about it.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not knocking
not a
those
Glenn Beck fan.
organizations, right?
You're not a Glenn Beck fan.
Well, I am not knocking those. No, I'm not knocking those. I think they're wonderful,
Feel
and they serve
free.
a wonderful purpose. I really do. But I think this is something very
Glenn Beck
special.
doesn't like social change, doesn't like social justice at all. It's his buzz thing.
Oh, well, I think we need it. I
You
think it's
think?
time. I think we're beyond time. I think it's time to
I
start.
think the out of control room thinks so too.
Yeah. Well, I think it's time we all learn, to put a hand in instead of putting a hand out.
We're all in the
you know?
same boat.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know. Yeah.
That feeling of entitlement that so many people feel today, this generation's coming up with a feeling of entitlement, but then there are so many people that are going without, and it's time to when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And just by changing your
That sounds like John
perspective,
Lennon.
well, it's true. And when you do, and you look at something from another viewpoint, the whole world can open up to you, and all your thoughts for today will create your tomorrows.
Yeah.
So when you're thinking good thoughts and giving and serving and helping, it's going to give your life you'll have a better life in return.
And then you inspire others to
Yes.
do the
Right.
same.
Yeah,
because
it's
it
true.
brings so
It's
much joy
infectious.
and happiness in your own life. People are like,
Yeah.
wow,
I love that.
yeah, it's great. Absolutely.
No argument here. I don't think anybody that works on this show is going to argue
Oh,
with
that's
you.
good. I'm
Yeah.
glad. I'm
It's
glad.
such
But
a good
I
thing
think
that
if we
you do.
start kids at a very young age, while their brain is malleable and
Yep.
pliable, and get them. And I think kids inherently love to give.
Right.
I remember being a little. I just love to
Yeah.
give
Yeah,
things
right.
away.
They do.
And
They
then
do.
somewhere along the way, it gets stifled, and then
Right.
it becomes more of this instead
Right.
of.
Well, a lot of it happens, I think, when you're in elementary school, and it comes from being bullied, I think.
Right,
And
and
you
yeah.
start to pull yourself in because, people, and you may not have any idea as to why, but you become bullied and you change your outlook.
Yeah.
That you feel like, that you're giving. And no kid goes around thinking, gee, I'm giving a loving kid. They don't think that. They just do it.
They just do it.
But when they start becoming bullied, and I mean bullied either in the classroom by the teacher, or in the by unthinking parents, or just bad neighborhood, or out in the schoolyard, any kind of bullying, they start to contract instead of
Expand.
give anymore. Instead of expand, that's the word I'm trying to think of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus
And,
the media, if you can pull your kids away from that TV set, I know we're on TV, and I'm on TV, I do.
Well, we're on TV because
Right.
we're trying to make it a better place to be.
Because we
So
want to
we don't
we want to bring
apologize
some
for it.
more quality, rather than, getting force-fed all this information to buy stuff that you don't need.
I mean, think of the sickness we have in this country. We look at the storage houses. Look at those little pods. What are those things? What are they called? Those
Pods,
little,
yeah.
The pods.
Pods.
Yeah.
We have so much crap
Yep.
that we're hoarding. It's like a
Yes, that
sickness of
needs
hoarding.
a 4-car garage, and yet their houses are being, not now, but like right up to the end of 2007, people around here were
Well,
building 4-car
because they were
garages.
thinking that that's what, it's keeping up with
Yeah.
the Joneses, keeping up with appearances.
Doing better than the Joneses.
Yeah.
They're on that rat race, and then they work and work and work, and they're never home because they have
And
to
they're
pay
not
for all
spending
this
time with their
stuff.
kids.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
forgetting what's important
Right.
because they're so
Exactly.
caught up in this thing. And I think hoarding is just such a sickness that
It
we
is a sickness.
have in this nation. And I think, if there's one gift, and I know so many families are going through a tough time, but I know there's been a gift in the passing of Lulu for me. But if there's a gift in this recession, almost depression, is that maybe people will start to realize that some of that stuff's not so important. It's not so
Right.
important to keep up with the Joneses.
Right.
It's not so important to have a 4-car garage. And I'm not saying people don't deserve to be successful.
Right.
You know, they do, but I believe there's a balance in that.
Well, you also,
Yes,
you can
everything
redefine the word
balance.
success as well.
Exactly.
And I think that's actually happened a little bit because of this depression. I think it's a depression. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't care what they want to call it. Seems like a depression to me.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that are depressed. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But I think that it has actually happened a lot. I think a lot of people have kind of said, you know, now that they lose their job and they feel like, well, you know,
Their self-worth.
it was something that I had, and now I don't have it anymore, and just getting along, and in a way they kind of, on the one hand, they contract because they don't have a job, and so they start pulling their family closer to them again. But in a way, pulling your family closer is a way to expand at the
Yes.
same time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think it kind of has happened a little bit. That doesn't mean that I don't think that the people that caused this should be let off scot-free, as if they are some sort of saints, though. I just don't want to mistake that.
I'm in agreement totally with that.
That needs, in order for there to be justice, those people need to be brought to justice. And it seems every time we go around another possible corner where that could happen, they're just let off again and again and again and again. I just feel totally betrayed by my government completely
Yeah.
for the past. And I'm not just talking about, you know, during the Obama administration, talking about the end of the Bush administration and the beginning of this Obama administration. I just feel like we've all been just totally betrayed by them. But I'm digressing a little bit. But
No.
I'm just saying those people shouldn't be allowed to
I agree.
let off, even though
Everyone should
some
be
really good
held
stuff I think has
accountable.
happened.
Yep,
Yes,
accountability and
exactly.
responsibility.
And
Yeah.
it's like, you know, they're just gearing up to do it again. They're just gearing up to take the last couple of nickels we have.
Oh,
Well,
man.
what I'm
And the
looking
proof of that
at
is that
is
nothing has been done, you know, to change it. But
every
I'm sorry,
single
was it-
world empire since the beginning of mankind has fallen.
Yep.
And I don't know, and everyone thinks it's not going to happen to them, or anything in life. You always think that this isn't going to happen to you. So you can take some things that are really negative or really devastating to you. If you can remain calm, you can build something good on that, and you can give back to society from that, like what you're doing, Gretchen. You know, it's such a good thing for people like you in our community to help others and do it with a sense of love and humility, and then it all comes, you know, it all comes back on you.
She's
It's
trying to
like-
say you're a really good example for the
Oh, right, thank you very much. I have this, there's this little, someone sent an email years ago, but it's a little stick figure, and they've got a cross on their back, and they're carrying this cross. And all these people are walking past them really fast, and this
Yeah.
guy's carrying this cross. And all of a sudden he comes upon a gorge, and he lays the cross down across the gorge, and he
All the
walks
people.
across, and all the people walk across, and the end of it, there was no words, but at the very end it did say, sometimes the cross that you bear is your greatest gift. And I thought, you know, even from a non-religious standpoint, that's just a really powerful, powerful thing. My family and Lulu, you know, they are my greatest gift, and I wouldn't trade a moment with her or a moment of the pain for the joy that I got to experience while she was alive, and the joy that I continue to share with others
That's such a good
through
thing.
her spirit and through, you know, the devastation of her passing, but through her spirit. I mean, I get to experience her spirit through others, and I get to give her away, and it brings me so much joy.
We have to take a quick break for a 5-minute or so.
wanna do a weather?
Weather, yeah. Tell us a little bit about Lulu, or tell us a lot about Lulu, whichever you like.
Oh, Lulu. She, well, of course, every parent thinks their child's special. And I think children are pretty awesome and special. They sort of elevate your energy. But Lulu was very expressive, full of life, full of energy. She was a girly girl. She loved to paint her nails and do her makeup. I mean, at 3, you know, but it was just clown stuff. Not that she went, you know. She loved just all the girly girl stuff, but she had 2 older brothers. So she loved that rough and tumble kind of thing going on.
What's the difference in age between
They're
the twins and...
Oh, well, the twins were 5 when Lulu was born.
Okay.
So, yeah, so she had sort of those both sides going on at the same time. She was a leader. One time she broke her leg skiing, and she was going to best friend's preschool, and I felt so bad. She was in a little wheelchair. She couldn't get used to using the crutches. She just couldn't do it. You know, 3 years old. It's
Wow,
just,
right.
So she was in a little wheelchair.
Just learned to walk a couple of months ago.
Exactly. I thought, how in the world is she going to do with all the other kids? And, you know, is she going to feel bad because she can't play with the other kids and all those things? And I walked in one day to pick her up, and there she was crawling around on the floor with a cast, and she had this whole train of little kids crawling around the floor with her. So she was that type of person. She could engage everyone around her. She, like any child, you know, said these profound things that I was just so grateful to stop and listen to her in those moments and realize, oh my goodness, you know, she's such a gift to us. And although she was the smallest one, she took up, talk about expansion, she took up just an enormous amount of space around us and with others. You couldn't go into a grocery store or anywhere without people stopping to, you know, engage in Lulu. If you were in a bad mood, you just couldn't be for very long because she was rarely in a bad mood, although she had her moments. I think I had to give her a couple timeouts, being sassy, you know, normal parent stuff. I mean, certainly not perfect, but she just had this way about her. You know, those people that light up a room when they walk in. That's what she had, whatever that thing is. She had it.
Charisma.
Charisma. She had a lot of charisma.
And what grade did she go to?
She was in preschool.
She just made it to preschool?
Yeah, she made it to preschool. She passed away 14 days after her 4th birthday.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was just, you know, one of those moments, and you know, you were talking about this earlier, how we all feel like nothing bad is ever going to happen to us, that we all feel as though we're sort of in this protective bubble, and you know, we would all like to think that only bad things happen to bad people, but that's not
I think that's what we all wish.
That's what we all
certainly
wish.
Not what happens.
And you know, after Lulu passed, I read every single book on finding your happiness, and you know, I felt as though my answers with her passing were spiritual answers. I didn't believe, and still don't believe, there's any psychologist who has not lost a child that can tell me how to grieve and how to live with the passing of a child. You know, unless you've experienced it, you have no clue. It's like reading a book on Rome and going to Rome. You know? But I found so many answers through my own inner exploration, and I don't think I'll ever understand why, but I do know that her life impacted so many others, and I do know that this is my purpose, and this is why I'm here now. I just feel as though, you know, gosh, do I wish only bad things happen to bad people. I was reading a book on, you know, one of those energy kind of books, and talking about, well, if you only put positive things out there, and you're only wonderful and positive, only, you know, this energetic Einstein theory, you know, molecular quantum physics stuff, that you only attract positive energy. I don't know if I quite buy that.
That sounds like someone who doesn't know what they're talking about when it comes to physics, if you ask me.
I think that
If you get what you put out overall, it doesn't stop you from life's trials, it doesn't stop you from everyday pain and aggravation, because you need to have those things in order to grow. You need to learn from everything that, I don't even call it negative, I call it abrasive. When I have abrasive things in my life and I feel like, oh, this has caused me some abrasion, it's like, what do I need to learn from this? What is my lesson from this? And and it's never everybody else's fault. It's always looking within me for the answer, instead of looking out, you know, and pointing fingers or whatever. But when you do that, then, you know, you can grow as a person. You're happier overall when you can search inward.
Talking about accountability and responsibility. You know, if everyone did that within themselves, imagine how the world could change.
Well, it's difficult to describe, because the human experience is a holographic type of experience. You're experiencing things on all levels, all the time, everywhere in your life. And so what you're, and this is why it's so difficult to explain, because what you're putting out is what you're putting in, is what you're getting in. The fact of the matter is, when it comes to physics, if something is all positive, then it is not necessarily going to attract more positive stuff. In fact, it's going to attract negative stuff. And if everything's all negative, that's the way physics works. The metaphor only works so far, and then it really breaks down.
Yeah.
And that's why those kinds of books are kind of funky.
Yeah, they are. You have
And
to-
they're usually explained by people that have that want some sort of fame, as fame for being positive people. But it breaks down, because the laws that rule the physical universe, they are the same laws that rule our spiritual universe too, but they're not apples for apples. That's the bottom line, and so it's very difficult to explain what it is. But in any case, putting out positive energy into the universe is not going to keep you from receiving negative, because you're going to. There's always somebody out there who, if they want to, they can come and poop on your parade, because there are people. And they're there. They're there to, but they're there to teach you a lesson. They're there. The universe puts them there, and it's not like a conscious effort on the universe. It happens this way. The universe, it is there because you need to learn whatever those lessons are. No one, no matter how positive you are, is immune to the negative things in the universe. Those things are going to come at you from every direction, all the time, everywhere.
Will help you to be able to cope.
The way, I think it's.
That's right, and allow you to give. Being positive allows you to give instead of contract.
That the only difference between creation and reaction is the see. It's the way you see things.
Right.
So rather than reacting to it, creating a new environment of your own around it.
Right.
So I mean, I think, with the Lulu stuff, I mean, you can have these moments in your life that can just beat you down if you allow it to.
Right.
And I think if you can change the way you see this thing that's beating you down.
You're a perfect example of that. I mean, how many people do you know do break down after the loss of a child? There was a woman in the South. It wasn't too long. It was within the past 20 years, because I was living in Wareham when I heard about it, and I just thought, what a brave woman, and what a great example for anybody in the United States. She had a son who was he was interested in social justice, etc., and the Ku Klux Klan killed him. And this woman, instead of being all negative and, I can't stand the Klan, so she said, I have to forgive them. That's what, whatever her reason was, because that's what the Lord expects. But the bottom line is, even if you're doing something what the Lord expects, you're still making that choice.
Yeah.
Because there's lots of Christians out there that heard what the Master said and don't care.
Yeah.
Like those ones that are just convicted or being investigated now, the Christian movement to kill cops. What the heck is that about? Have you heard about it?
That's what God would want.
Yeah, right, because he can't do it himself, I guess. Anyway, but the point is that here was this old black woman, and she said, well, I'm going to forgive them. That's what I'm going to do. And I just thought, what a great thing to, her just saying that. People that hear that ought to learn the lesson from that as horrible as that was. She had this really nice kid, and was, whose life was cut short, and she said, I'm still going to forgive them because that's what I'm supposed to do. It's like, wow, and you're kind of in that same category.
I don't know if I could forget. I mean, I hope that I could, but boy, that would be really tough. I mean,
So here the upshot of this, what I thought was kind of like a really nice ending to it, was that the judge took away the Kingdom Hall of the Ku Klux Klan in that state and said, it's yours. It said, you can do whatever you want to, whether you can sell it or you can turn it into a church. It's your play. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
That's very cool.
Yep.
That's
Talk about
very cool.
payback.
Yeah, payback, definitely. I think, people ask, and this has been a question. In fact, my son sort of posed it to me, and he had said, Mom, it's been, 8 years, a few of the kids have asked, like, well, when's your mom ever going to get over this? And and that's coming, and I don't, I'm not saying that in a negative way, and it really, made me go within again and think about how I was going to respond. And I said, you know what, Dylan, this is something I will never get over. Why would I want to get over something so beautiful and so wonderful and so?
And really, the question is, what is over?
There is no
What is over?
How do you get over something that's not tangible?
Right.
I believe there's no separation between heaven
Excuse me,
and
Paul?
physical.
Paul,
What's that?
we've lost our guest microphone.
Oh,
Steve's gonna come out with another one.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, she's on mute, that's why.
Oh,
Wow, how
I don't know. I was like,
long ago did we lose her?
Just during this last segment.
Oh, we probably need a new mic anyway.
okay,
There was only 2 bars on it, so.
all right.
I
What
love
does it say?
that way that you put the, not just to jump off too much, I'm looking at your book there and seeing that little paper doll that's in
Yeah, yeah. But with every book, we want to give a gift back. And we want to bring sort of this,
Oh, I didn't realize.
this story, this journey into the tangible. So with rose-colored glasses, you get a pair of rose-colored glasses. So that, I love the
Just like
idea.
she told you?
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, somewhere a little girl or boy is going to lose his rose-colored glasses, and he's going to find them, just like in this story. And it's gonna be life imitating art, you know, kind of thing. This one, Lulu's dad woke up on the wrong side of the bed as we were camping at a quiet camping spot, and he was grumpy, and Lulu found some flowers in a wild field. And she decided that it would be fun to decorate Daddy. There's the wildflowers that she found. And
How could
so
that not make him smile?
I know. So she walks over and she says, you know, I know we're going to decorate Daddy. And he's like, oh, no, you know, that's a game I'm not going to play. And she started placing the beautiful blooms on his head. And basically, it's a story of the transformation of her father's energy and how she was able to transform him with these beautiful flowers.
It's such, it's so beautifully
Illustrated, what
Yeah.
the heck?
Aren't they
gorgeous.
beautiful?
Yeah.
And they're all works of art. Each page, it's a
Yeah.
watercolor.
Yeah.
It's not computerized.
What are we at?
You got a phone call.
All right. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, put it on speaker. Barbara, put
Hi, Barbara.
Hi.
Hi.
Paul.
How are you doing?
Fine. Listen, I just want you to know that this is one of the most inspiring shows that you've had on.
Oh, thank you.
And that lady is fantastic.
Yes, she is, isn't she?
Oh, thank you so much. Just tell your friends about Lulu.
I've lost a child too, and I know what it's like.
Yeah, we're in a club we don't want to belong to. Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Barbara. Thanks for calling.
Okay, Paul.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. She's one of our big fans of the show.
That's
What's that?
awesome.
That needed to come up.
Yeah,
That was awesome.
absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. But as I was saying, I don't feel as though there's a separation between here and there and heaven and earth
Mhm.
and what's tangible and what isn't. I think it's all together. And I think if we can start to give and vibrate at sort of a higher energy, then you can start to feel that around you. I feel Lulu with me all the time. And I know it's not
I
me
feel it
going
with you
crazy.
now.
See, I think
I know
people,
exactly what you mean.
I think people feel her through the books when they read it. People feel like they know her, and her spirit does live on, and it's not just a mother's wishful thinking.
Right.
And I think all of us can experience that with a loved one that we've lost. You know, I think if you face your fears and go into that space of pain in your heart, and sort of just go in a quiet space and experience the love and the pain. I always say, when Lulu died, there was so much pain, but yet there was so much love, and I couldn't separate it. And instead of my heart being broken, it was broken open. And I'm a
What a
better
good way to put it.
woman today
Uh-huh.
after the passing of Lulu than I was before, certainly.
I remember
Now-
Maury Schwartz had said, to live on in the hearts of the people that love you is to never die.
How
Did you
true
just
is
look that
that?
up?
Huh?
Did you just look that up, or
No,
is that another one you got
no,
memorized?
it's just, that came from
No, I
Maury
know,
Schwartz.
I'm teasing her.
You know, and it's so true, because when you'll live on, you'll live forever that way, because people genuinely loved you.
Yeah.
And to
Love
have
can't
that-
die.
No, it
Yep.
can't.
Love can't die.
Well, I think we're all in agreement with that.
Yeah.
It is a forever thing.
It really is.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I don't, I really, really believe that. And I think in this country, we have a real problem with grief. Nobody wants to talk about it. I mean,
Because it's like everything else, though. It's I think, and I hate to be the stone here, but it just seems to me it's another thing to make money off of. You know, the grief counseling, grief newsletters, grief psychologists and psychiatrists. It's just another thing that people turn into a money-making machine, and you know, people. I think that part of the problem with humanity in general is the fact that we just have a tendency to not celebrate the things that make us human, and there are things that are great that make us human, that are happy and celebratory, fun is what I mean.
Yep.
And there's things that aren't so much fun that also make us human, and there's just too many people that just think, well, how can I make $1 out of that? And I think that's why we have the problem that you're mentioning. That there is a problem with grief in this country, and if you know, many other things as well. But I have to agree with you there that.
yeah, I think that's one of the huge problems. I think another problem is that there's just this huge fear of death.
Anything
It's just
fear-based
like
is
just
not
this
good.
huge fear of death and dying. I mean, you know,
When everyone dies.
and we all die.
Really,
We're all
really,
going to do
really,
it.
You know?
Really, it's a
We're all
one-way road.
going. I mean, we're all going to do it. We prolong life to the point where it's, you know,
Not quality.
not quality. And I think that's another aspect of it that we all need to sort of face. You know,
Right.
facing your fear, understanding that when you die, you're just different.
Right.
You know, you're not. I mean.
Well, there's no
you can't die.
tangible way to prove that, so it always, and unfortunately, that makes it fall into the same
But
category
do
as
you-
grief. But I know what you're saying. I agree with what you're
Right,
saying.
just because it can't be proven. But again, talking again about quantum physics and Einstein, E equals mc squared. Energy can't
Can't be
die.
created or
It-
destroyed. It's just
It
change of
can't.
state.
So it's a change of state. So
Yep.
there's this whole movement where science and spirituality are sort
There's
of
lots
joining
of
forces.
there's lots of examples in nature for almost any idea that human beings come up
Yeah.
with.
Yeah.
I believe that human beings come up with those ideas because there are examples of them in nature. It's you know, a symmetrical.
Right.
You know, the old Greek saying was the micropopus reflects the macropopus.
Yeah.
The universe reflects the large and the small, and they all work the same way. And I haven't seen anybody disprove that theory yet.
Right.
I've heard people trying to disprove it,
Yeah.
but I've never seen anybody that really can really put the kibosh on that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're actually you're
Yes.
actually saying is the universe is a reflection and a refraction of itself.
Absolutely.
And
It
I agree with
absolutely
you
is.
completely.
And I believe that, you know, not everyone hears voices or not everyone sees a apparition or, you know, for me it's a feeling, and it's this feeling of joy and
Right.
love, and I want to share that.
Right.
Yeah.
I just want to
Now,
share.
I have to ask you, because we only have a few more minutes, and I got to ask you, the whole birth and loss of Lulu is not your own. It also belonged to your
My
husband.
family, absolutely.
And how do they deal with it?
Um,
And the reason I guess I'm asking before you answer is when your son asked you, his friends
Yes,
want to
yeah,
know when are you going to
yeah.
get over it.
Yeah.
What do you tell him? I mean, do you ask him, are you over it? I mean, do you ever want to be over having the fact that you had a little sister? And,
Right.
You know, it just doesn't seem like, especially having a mom like you. It
Yeah.
doesn't seem like something
It's-
that
I'm
they would-
telling you, it hasn't been easy. We all, and that's one of the tricky, slippery slopes about grief, is that when you're 80% of all parents who lost their children end up in divorce. 80% of marriages end up in divorce. It's huge. Everyone grieves differently. My husband is a very private person. Wanted to keep this to himself, and of course I'm just the complete opposite. And I had a very difficult time understanding how he couldn't just want to, and he had a very difficult time understanding how I could.
Right.
And for me, it was you know, people say, oh well, this is just, you know, such your way of grieving. Maybe initially yes, but now it's so much. It's not about grief. It's about,
Well, unless you change the definition of grief, not that I'm a big person for changing definitions of words, but my point is that in your life you've made, if in fact you made grief such a huge thing, then grief for you is a different thing than what it is, you know, out of the dictionary definition of it.
well, that's a very
For other
valid
people.
when you have such a huge loss, yeah, grief, oh, bless you. Grief is your life, no matter how you deal with it or your way of processing it. So whether you choose to be, not choose, or whether, you know, I mean, I'm not saying that this has been this rosy journey. I mean, I've had days when I've been on the floor sobbing like a baby, you know. We've all dealt with it in our own way. And I think we've come to a mutual understanding of each other. And through the boys, I mean, they're proud of Lulu. They remember her. They love the idea that Lulu's still a part of our family. I mean, Lulu's room is still Lulu's room. It's changed, but the boys don't want us to really change it from being Lulu's room. So I have my closet in there. Kids come over. I have my desk in there. Andrew, you know, sleep in there. But it's a living room, and we still call it Lulu's room.
Right.
So. Does that answer your question?
Well, yeah, but it actually kind of expands on what I wanted to talk about too. Is that love is like that, or even the term making love. You know, when you're young and you just discover puppy love, and you discover the term making love. It's, you know, it's what we all picture. You know, the first thing that comes to our mind is making love, but as you get older, your view of what making love should expand, just like your you know, the definition of what grief is should expand, and at some point or another, maybe even it even changes from grief into something else, but it's still rooted in grief. But
what's the exact definition of grief?
What I'm driving at is that it still becomes a form of love, and that's the bottom line. What I was saying about making love is, you know, making love is doing the dishes for the people that you love is a form of making love. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Cleaning up the yard and making a nice home, etc. All of that stuff becomes, making love becomes a very expansive thing.
Are you saying I'm making love to grief?
No, I'm saying you're making love to your family. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I was thinking when you were saying how you had that need to write.
Yeah.
That need to write. It made me think of this line from Shakespeare that said, give sorrow words. Grief has a need to speak. And it says, less whisper the o'er-fraught heart and bid it break. So, and it helps when you write it out, like you did. You'd sit down by the beach every day and just write it out, and then you're sharing it with others. And that is what is sorrow and grief. They need to speak. And when you can channel that into something positive, like what you've done, and help so many people in the process,
turned it into a form.
People need to see.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it made me think of Shakespeare.
That's awesome.
It makes you an involved spiritual being is what it is.
Oh, I hope so. I don't know if I want to do this again.
I can understand that. I mean, I certainly understand that. Who wants to lose another kid?
Yeah.
I don't. My clock is way off, so I'm off by. Okay.
Yeah. So if anyone who's been touched or is listening to this, you know, go on the website, lulubellbooks.com. We can post all the dates of the signings and clothing drives. We want to help as many people. I want to engage the entire school body of Wareham, teachers, every student, you know, superintendents, just get every community member involved in these clothing drives, book signings.
Give us some things and we'll announce it on TV all the time.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Be happy to help you with that stuff.
Okay, I'll email it over. I really, you know, I'd love to see go on in Wareham what's going on in New Bedford and the surrounding communities, and engage some of these wonderful positive things right here in our town.
Very good. Yeah. Gretchen Pine, thank you very much for coming. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, it was a great conversation.
Thank you.
All right, so thank you for watching your dailygumbo.tv. Tomorrow we will have attorney Brian Mahoney, our usual Wednesday guest, and how much time have I got here?
Under a minute.
Under a minute. All right. So in that case, take care of the people that you love and love the people you take care of, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Remember, tonight we will be running this show. This show will be rerun at 8 o'clock, and if you can't get to a TV, you can stream it at yourdailygumbo.tv. Same name as the show. All right. Take care. See you in the morning.
Bye.